Welcome everyone to the Krasner Scholarship video. My name is Marcia Keys. I'm a past president of the New York Upstate Chapter of the American Planning Association, and I'm joined by 5 other folks today from the Western New York section to talk about Michael Krasner, his legacy, and to ask for your help and your support in funding this Krasner Scholarship. We have a few PowerPoint slides here today that we'd like to show you to give you some background on what this scholarship entails. These are the folks who are joining us here today on this video. Gary Palumbo, representative of the Western New York section and one of the original committee members. Past scholarship recipients, Mike Roundtree, Jeff Amplement, Nate Aldridge, and Grace DeSantis. And they'll all be speaking later. So Michael J. Krasner's Memorial Scholarship was set up shortly after Mike passed away in 2002, leaving a void in our chapter because he was chapter president when he passed. And in 2004, the scholarship was set up, and it honors Mike's dedication to the profession and the education of planning in Western New York, as well as his commitment to the American Planning Association. The scholarship is awarded to a student that best exhibits his or her commitment to planning issues in Western New York and in Upstate New York, and their intent to practice within the Upstate Chapter, and who best reflects the ideals of Mike Krasner. And there is Mike. At the time, he was president in 2002, and I believe this was taken on the St. Lawrence River in Alexandria Bay at our conference. There's been many ways to raise funds over the years for the Krasner Scholarship. It's been an annual event at many of our conferences and at Western New York section get-togethers, and there's always a lot of fun prizes and raffles. So we've had a very good time raising funds over these years, but due to COVID, the fact that we were not able to gather together for the last couple of years has really put a dent in our fundraising efforts. So we're trying this video to see if that can help spawn a little bit more donations to keep this really worthy scholarship going. And here's how you may donate. You can go to this link, which is located right on the New York Upstate Planning website, and I will put it in the chat box as well today. Or you could scan the QR code with your phone, and that will take you to a link on the website as well, where you can donate whatever amount you would like to do. Now, here's a list of all of the past scholarship recipients since 2004, including in the most recent scholarship recipient, Annalise Paulson. And so you can see the names. Perhaps you know some of these folks, and you can contact them if you have any questions. We have 4 of these folks with us today. And here's Nathan Aldridge. He's with us today, joined by, on the right, another recipient, Grace DeSantis, is with us today as well. The plaque that you see here was started back when they put that up in UB's Hayes Hall. And Gary tells me today that they're going to update that soon because it has to definitely be a little bit updated, and hopefully there'll be 2 plaques or perhaps more to put all those 18 names. And once again, another link to how you can donate. So with that, I would like to stop sharing. And we will turn to our speakers now. And I'd like to call on, I think, Mark first. And if you could just talk a little bit about, what the Mike Krasner Scholarship meant to you in your education and your career. We'd love to hear from you.
Sure. So my name is Mark Roundtree. I received the Krasner Scholarship in 2006. I'm currently a principal planner in Erie County's Department of Environment Planning, which was where Mike Krasner worked before he passed. Unfortunately, I never met Mike, but he certainly left his mark on the department and the county. He advanced, multiple important planning projects within Erie County. He played key roles in building multiple multi-use trails in Erie County, and he managed a lot of the large environmental reviews, like the Buffalo Bills Field House that we all are familiar with. He was well known for his love of planning in Western New York. In fact, he actually has the distinction of visiting every town and village in New York State, which is quite remarkable. When I received this award, it was, a real important financial contribution towards my education. As attending a state school, there's not many options as far as financial aid. So receiving a scholarship was an important contribution. So I'm very thankful for having received the award. So thank you, Marcia.
Thank you, Mark. And I'm going to call on Gary Palumbo now, who knew Mike, as did I, to tell us a little bit about Mike and a little bit how they got the scholarship started. So Gary, would you tell us?
Good afternoon, Martha. When we say Krasner, it has two meanings. For the student, it's the name of a scholarship. But for many of the professionals in Western and Upstate New York, we're talking about Mike the person, not the scholarship. Now that we're since his passing, there's fewer and fewer people that personal planner. Mike, the co-worker, Mike, friend. A lot of his peers at Erie County Planning hired. Mike looked at planning, and it wasn't just a job. When he traveled, and as alluded to, he traveled a lot. He looked at cities around the state, the country, and even around the globe from a planner's perspective. Then he came home, and he shared his impressions with his peers, his impressions of planning in other places. In APA, partly through working on conference committee over the years, but also Mike himself got involved in planning, and not in planning, I'm sorry, Mike got involved in APA when he agreed with how the chapter budget was being spent. So instead of complaining about it, Mike got involved on the chapter board. Eventually, he became chapter president, Mark said. He also got involved with the national level. He was very proud to have arranged to get the APA National Leadership Meeting in Buffalo in 2005 with our annual conference. He took it as far as agreements with APA National and the contracts with the hotel. He handed it over to me as the new conference chair. Warning, you better not screw it up. And unfortunately, Mike was there the following fall when the national leadership meeting our conference. But it was because of his involvement in national and the respect that other chapter president that shortly after his death, the chapter started receiving donations in Mike's name. At that time, Kate Foster was at UB and Rocky Ferraro was the chapter president after Mike. We're instrumental, along with some of us here locally in Western New York, in setting up the scholarship. I was honored to be on the initial selection committee with John Biss representing UB and Ken Swanick representing Erie County Planning. Over the years, as Marcia said, West New York and Upstate Board have been able to continue to raise funds to keep the scholarship going. Now, as Marcia said, COVID's making it a little harder to get a couple more years out of the scholarship. It'd be great to get to 20 years. The scholarship is important because it's 3 parts of Mike's professional life together. In county planning, working with municipalities throughout, his role as adjunct professor at UB, training the up and coming professionals, and his involvement in this of APA. For those reasons, I think we continue to fundraise and keep the scholarship going. Thanks, Marcia.
Thank you, Gary, for that background about Mike as a person and his professional career. He certainly was a unique individual, and there were many a night when he was chapter president, he'd call me and say, Marcia, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? We'd have a conversation for an hour on a Friday night or something like that, as long as there was not a hockey game. He was always reaching out to people to hear what they had to say, to listen. And I think a lot of that passes through our careers, and that's what we do as planners. And he lived it every day and every part of his life. So I'd like to now call on our 2014 recipient, Jeff Implement, to also talk about what the scholarship meant to him in his career.
Well, thanks, Marcia. So as Marcia noted, I was a 2014 recipient of the Krasner Scholarship, 2015 graduate of the University of Buffalo Planning Program. I currently work with the Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority as a planning project manager. One thing that is really unique about the Krasner Scholarship is its emphasis on the part of its recipients to demonstrate a commitment to professional practice in Western New York, right? That's what really sets it apart. In particular, dedicating their time to addressing planning issues throughout the community. So as a person who spent his entire career doing just that, the scholarship really embodies everything Mr. Krasner worked so hard to achieve for this region. When I look at the list of former Krasner Scholarship recipients that Marcia shared with us, I see a long list of people that have really gone on to do great things for this community, working on really important planning projects to improve quality of life across Western New York. And as a former recipient myself, I've always felt a great responsibility to utilize my planning education, which was made possible through the Krasner Scholarship Program, to help make our community a better place to live, work, and play for all of our neighbors, really. So whether it is in my professional role in public transportation or in volunteer capacities with local nonprofits or community organizations, I'm just really proud to say that that responsibility to my community, which has come as a result of being a Krasner Scholarship recipient, has never really been lost on me.
That's wonderful to hear, Jeff. I think Mike would be smiling right now as he hears you folks talk, to know that the type of planning work he cherished is being carried on. And so, Nate, I'd like to call on you as the 2015 recipient.
Thank you, Marcia. And again, I'm Nate Aldrich, a 2014 graduate of the University of Buffalo BA/ED program, and a 2016 graduate of the Master of Urban Planning program. And I was fortunate enough to be awarded the Krasner Scholarship the year after Jeff. And, admittedly, I didn't know Mike probably before, or didn't hear of him before 2014, 2015. But, just in talking with other APA members and hearing what an impact he left on Erie County and Western New York and the planning practice in general, I'd say two things. Number one, obviously, when you're a college student, every little bit helps financially, balancing school, work, internships, and that financial assistance is certainly really appreciated. But maybe even more importantly, just trying to live up to Mike's what he accomplished, and not only his accomplishments, but the way he conducted himself professionally, and the emphasis he put on continuing education and ethics and creativity and collaboration and other key traits. Certainly important. And when you're in grad school, thinking about your career, setting the bar high and trying to live up to Mike's professional career is something that I'm truly appreciative for, and hopefully we're all on that track to live up to Mike's the level he set for all of us.
Thank you, Nate. It's very well said, and I think that he would be very honored to hear your remarks of that nature. And last but not least, I'm going to call on one of the most recent recipients, Grace DeSantis, 2019. And Grace, would you like to say a few words, please?
Absolutely. So I'm Grace. I graduated from the UB Urban Planning Program in 2020. I was happy to receive the Mike Krasner Scholarship in 2019. And, while I never had the pleasure or honor to meet Mike Krasner, his work really resonated with me, and it encouraged me to apply for the program. From what I've gleaned off of my colleagues, he was extremely dedicated to his hometown of Western New York, and had some particular interests in protecting our natural resources and recreational spaces. My family's been in Western New York for generations. I grew up in Western New York. I love it here so much. I decided to pursue a planning profession in Western New York as well. And I also have my, professional planning interests geared towards environmental planning. So I really do appreciate having the opportunity to follow Mike's lead and, to hopefully contribute some of his goals in the Western New York community. He set the bar pretty high for professional planners, and I appreciate that. And I think we all can, appreciate being able to work up to that level. So, being awarded this scholarship had a profound impact on my education and my career. Not only did it expose me to Mike's contributions to the planning profession and his impact on Western New York in particular, but the scholarship also supported me financially. Because of this, I was able to spend a little less time working and instead spend some more of my time in grad school volunteering and taking classes that actually interest me. And so I was able to develop some more skills that, I might not have been exposed to just through school and work. And actually the volunteering that I participated in ended up helping me secure a job after I graduated. So the scholarship really opens up opportunities in many ways to students at the UB program. I, can't speak enough to how great the program was and how much it's helped me and, all of us on this call. So if you have the ability to donate, please do. You'll be providing a student with some more opportunities than you may realize. So thank you.
Thank you, Grace. What a nice plug for the scholarship. And I think of the 18 recipients, most of whom I've met over the years at every conference. You four are so well spoken and such great representations of the kind of ideals that Mike had in his life and in his career. And I just want to close by saying that many of you did not know Mike, but Gary and I did, and we knew he was a humble person. He would be flabbergasted by the support that has come into this scholarship over the last 20-some years, almost 20-some years. He'd probably be a little embarrassed, actually. So let's keep embarrassing him wherever he may be. And I hope that you will continue to donate. I have put a link in the chat today. And also you can just go to the chapter website and find the Krasner Scholarship page, www.newyorkupstateplanning.org/Krasner. And you can easily find it, click through and donate it, or use that new QR code that we've developed. So with your help, we can keep this scholarship going for, we hope, another 18 years and help educate the next generation of planners. So thank you all for your participation, and I hope to see you all sometime in person very soon. Take care, everyone.